Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to the RWBY Volume 9 official trailer. It is finally here. Now, I wasn't able to get to RTX, because, well, I'm working and at uni at the moment, so I can't really take time off of both since I'm casual. And B, I live in Australia and I don't really want to be going over to America at the moment. So I was hoping that these would be released on the Rooster Teeth website, which they have been. If not, I would have just gone off of Arnold's videos like I did for the mid-season trailers for Volume 8. But yeah, I did hear that the official trailer, which we're going to react to here, a clip from Volume 9, Chapter 1, and the release date were shown, well, a release window was shown at RTX. So, we're going to do the reaction to the trailer. Then I'm going to read out what is the synopsis for the volume. Then react to the chapter clip. And then I'll give my thoughts on the release date. Because I figured a little bit clickbaity. That's what a lot of people, if you're watching this, you probably want to hear the opinion of. So that's what is going to be the last thing in the video. So let's get the trailer started in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the story of a girl who had a lot of problems. Before she went back home, the girl had a great many questions to ponder. After all the lessons she'd learned and the friends she'd made and lost, who had she become? Would she still be the same when she went
Little
back
messy.
home? The leaves of the tree rustled, and on the wind, she heard one more question. What are you?
Okay, that was an interesting trailer. So, going to pause this here so that I can get it up in my other screen where I'm able to go frame by frame. But there was a lot of interesting visuals in that trailer. Okay, so we start this trailer in this smoky area where it's just RWBY. And we hear the narrator say, "This is the story of a girl who had a lot of problems," which is very fitting for RWBY. Now, I'm thinking that this may well be some sort of pit or fog of despair, because these are the usual colors that are done with a pit of despair. RWBY, her posture and her facial expression in the close-up, plus it seems to be washing over the plant life because you see little touches of green here. So I'm wondering if this plus other things that we see later in the trailer, these could be some malicious smoke or something triggering her worst memories and that. Because just before the end there, the tree green and all that switches to red. Then this is Ruby falling through the in-between area after she got knocked off the bridge when Neo cut the cord. Here we have this really a trippy tower. It sort of reminds me of the mirror dimension from Doctor Strange, where everything's just sort of folded in on itself. We see that each of these sides, the bells actually ring a different way. These ones ring downwards. These ones ring to the left of the screen. These ones ring upwards. And these ones ring to the right of the screen. Now, over here we've got this red rocky terrain and pillars that... Is it just me, or do they sort of look like chess pieces? Like, here's a pawn. This one could be a rook. Maybe a bishop over here. I may just be going crazy. Then we've got this really vibrant green area. Based on, if this is the ground, this could be the sky, and they're just traveling through. The only problem is this side of the structure, where we've got this groundwork here, is on the wrong side, and the sky is... So, I don't know if maybe this is meant to be flipped. Like, it's meant to be a sort of shifted mirror version of this, where this is on this side, but someone just put the background of this section in the wrong way and it'll be changed up. Or if this is actually meant to be part of the trippiness of this trip, because this tunnel is also spinning. But you see how this one gets more of the green, and so does this one. We've got some emerald version of Penny's sword. Now this isn't actually Penny's sword, because her swords are never actually green. They're metallic, and so this is probably made from some mineral, possibly emerald, jade, or some mystical thing that's on the island that Ruby fashioned in shape of Penny's blade, since she doesn't have Crescent Rose. And this groundwork sort of looks like someone tried to recreate the platforms in the in-between. So it's interesting to see where this is taking place. But we do see Penny's face, so it is something she made while thinking of Penny to keep her alive in her memory. Here we've got Ruby with her little mouse friend. Given the theme of this world seems to be a mix between Oz and Wonderland, this could be the Dormouse. But these vines are actually the same ones we see Blake pushing through later on in the trailer. So this could be Ruby coming across her and Yang for the first time since landing on this island. Since we know Ruby and Blake get separated in the fall, and so we don't know where they all landed. But we do also get to see a bit more of the flora of this land. And then we get a good look of the topography of this world. We've got this green the grassy beach area that they, well, at least Ruby landed on, where, or at least we see Crescent Rose. Here we've got, I'm going to call it Candy Island, but it's probably just Candyland. Some weird mushroom area, that red craggly area that we saw from the trippy structure shot. So this is going to play a part of it. I assume each of these parts is going to play a part of it, but this one we know does. I'm not sure what this pink, white, and purple area could be. Some volcanic area. Some rock spikes. Snow-capped mountains and that. A floating island of sorts. There seems to be another little one down here that's different than that. These towers in the background. And again, I can't see if this one over here is the same as this one. But this could be a different one area. And right in the middle is the massive tree that was center frame at the closing shot of the teaser we got. So I'm going to keep calling this Yggdrasil, but it could very well be named something else in the show. Here we get this knight, which is actually done in a different art style than RWBY. Now, I'm not sure if this is someone telling the story of some evil knight that took over the world, well, this land, or if this is someone telling, because I assume the narration is the girl who fell through the world, and this could be a part of that fairy tale, like someone's telling that story amongst the group to maybe Jean or Blake, who may not have grown up with the same fairy tales, but who knows what this is, because it's not the art style that was used in the fairy tales of Remnant, so it could be something different, but it's also not the RWBY art style. Then we get this thing. I am not quite sure what this thing could be. It sort of reminds me of like, now this could just be because of the thin, long limbs and the bestial face, but it sort of reminds me of the God of Darkness. Maybe the Nakalave, but when he was coming out of the pools of Grim, his head was the wrong way for his body and he was crawling along. That's what this creature gives me the same vibes of. I'm not sure about the mask, but this seems to be some sort of temporary, well, not necessarily temporary, but someone seems to be living here, because these seem to be lights strewn around the tree. There's things hanging, look like support pillars. So this could be attacking someone's base. This could be an inhabitant that takes one of the girls, sort of Madagascar style, I guess. You know, how they were taken by the lemurs in the first one. So that could be what's happening here. The general vibe of this creature, I don't think that's what is happening, but it could very well be. And that twitching movement of its head. How in almost an instant it's switched. That's why it reminded me of the Nakalave. Also, the color palette of this sort of makes me think this is in that mushroom area. I have no reason to think that other than that area looks like it should be under constant nightfall. So having a dark blue sky, which is normally night, being the area of the mushrooms, if bright green is the area of the red craggly bit, the bluish yellow was the sky of the beach in that. It makes sense for if each of those sections had a different sky color. Well, at least makes sense to me from a design wise. We've got Neo looking angry. I can't get a good look at the background, but these lines make it look like it's raining. This could be the same place where the fog of despair washes over Ruby, or this could be some different place where maybe the fog's just hitting Neo in a different place. I'm trying to get... Where would this make most sense to be? Over here. This little dark purple bit over here could well be where Neo is, based on just the coloring of the background. We've got this unknown female walking on the beach of... There's a second set of footprints over here. That actually looks like young Maria's skirt. Or, if not young Maria, we've definitely seen that. The design actually looks South American, but... yeah, Maria Calavera. Could very well be. Maybe younger from not long before she became the Grim Reaper, because it's not quite the muted blue that hers is. Why does that look so familiar? Because the more I look at it, the more it's not Maria's, but I know there's been a character who looks like that. She's got an injured leg, so I don't know if that plays into the character, or if that's just like maybe she's wants one of her socks to be higher than the others. Who knows? But I'm gonna have to look through that after this breakdown to see if I can find a character who matches that. So this mouse can speak. And is that a cheese turnip? It's the shape of a turnip, but the coloring of cheese. And this is why I wanted to be able to go frame by frame. Queen of Hearts, or maybe they're going for the King of Hearts. No, that's the Queen's crown on a chessboard. So this seems to be, if I am correct about those earlier bits being chess pieces, then this will be in the red craggly area. I'm not sure if they need to unite the land or stop various different evil villains from destroying it in this season. Honestly, I can't tell you anything from this trailer other than it's Oz inspired and Alice in Wonderland, as we could see by this obvious Cheshire cat. However, Ruby's gripping her head in anguish, almost like get out of my head kind of way, or she's having another mental breakdown, which means this creature right here could well be the source of that fog we saw at the start, meaning it's more of a mental fog of despair than an actual one. And so this is in the... Where was this one located? This is green sky, red trees and grass. But it's also got the beach sand. So this could be a junction between the two sections. Here we've got a different three-legged creature. Well, not three-legged, three-eyed creature in the mushroom area with a bunch of technicolored leaves. Ooh, your design looks cool. A lot of segmented armor. I've tried to see if... I'm going to assume that is sort of like a weapon, or maybe this branch-like thing is. It's sort of got the exposed look of steampunk. However, you can tell this is obviously armor plating, not just to show the inner functions of it. She's got like a chain braid. Can't tell if this is like ammo pouches or what. Ruby opening a chest and getting angry before slamming it again. So she's not opening it. She just happens to move the lid in annoyance. What could be in that chest? Also, the sky up here is... I'm going off of each section has a different color. So this seems like it'll be the same area where that creature attacks them at night. She's being asked, what are you? See this? I'm not... They're at a fire, you can tell by the distinct lighting of that. So this could also be that same area with... This sort of looks like wrenches hanging from the ceiling. This giant leaf could well be the door. This may be where she gets her penny blood. Also, the mouse was woken up from its sleep. Then she dissolves into Weiss on the beach with tears in her eyes. Could this be Weiss telling her about Penny, or just her in general having a breakdown about it after realizing, hey, if Penny had just fallen instead of taking on Cinder, she'd still be here with us. Here's that shot of Blake pushing through those vines that I mentioned earlier, and we see a little bit of... Well, I'm going to think this is ice cream. So that's the candy land just over there. So this isn't preceding the shot of the four girls. I didn't notice Weiss when I was watching, of the four girls looking out over the island, because that seems to be the first time they've seen this. Yet, if they're sitting here with the ice cream in view, then they've obviously seen that and they're going back to discuss. But then again, Blake's face looks shocked at what she's seeing on the other side. Yang, based on the white tone, I can only assume this is the snow area. That's snow-capped mountains. She's looking at someone or something. Could be where she meets Blake, just from the facial expression. And that is all of this trailer. So honestly, there's a lot more than I thought was in it, but also I cannot get anything from as to what this trailer is going to be about, which is actually really good. Okay. And now let's get onto the sneak clip from episode 1 in 3, 2, 1, go. Apparently that was Aaron that made that bug. Tons of damage. Yeah, there's a shoe bill. You... Maybe that's not the way you need to go. Oh great, it's starting to rain.
Now, if only you could help me.
I could try. Why are you yelling?
Because you.
Did you want to share? Oh, I guess it's only fair.
No, that's all right. I guess, I've just never really spoken to a mouse before.
Well, I guess I've never spoken to you before. What are you?
Oh, I'm a human. A girl. A huntress.
That's a lot of things.
I'm Ruby Rose.
And to Ruby Rose is your purpose?
No, that's my name. Do you have a name?
I'm still young, so not yet.
How about I call you Little for now? Would that be all right?
How does one little? Huh? What's wrong?
I'm.
I think I know that mouse's
Have you
voice.
seen other people? Humans. Like me.
Exactly like you?
No, not exactly like me. I mean, we're similar, but different.
I'm sure it'll make sense eventually.
One would have long blonde hair. The other has, well, cat ears. Sorry, I should have known. I've seen plenty of cartoons.
Well, I've never seen anyone who does or doesn't look like you. But maybe someone in my village has. They're always out foraging. You know, since we need food and stuff. Speaking of which, a few more of these wouldn't hurt.
Huh. So, that is Ruby making a friend in the ever after. We don't get an actual name for the mouse other than Little, so I'm assuming they're going off of a Smurf kind of naming system where once you prove yourself as something, you get named for doing that thing. But, this must be not long after she's woken up on the island. I always love the just sort of location loop trope where they just walk one way multiple times without ever really giving up until you just break down in anger. But yeah, not really anything to break down in that clip, so I'm going to do what I forgot to do before reacting to it, which is read out the synopsis for the volume, which is: after the harrowing events of RWBY Volume 8, our heroines are thrust into an unknown world, the Ever After. However, once Team RWBY explores this strange and mysterious realm, they quickly discover it might not be quite as unknown as they first assumed. Interesting. As they journey to find a way back home, they'll have to overcome some of their toughest challenges yet, the struggles of their own identities, and whether or not they're equipped to stop Salem. So, there's a few interesting speculatory things in this synopsis. The first, naming it the Ever After, playing into that trope of happily ever after, ever after high, happily never after, that weird movie. And this was even in, I think it was the sneak peek for the second half of Volume 8, where it had that flashing of happily ever after with a question mark, or happy never again. I forget what exactly that was a part of, but that was definitely in the show, because it was preceded by the Hound. But yes, so it's a very loaded title of a location. They discover it might not be quite as unknown as they first assumed, so they may stumble across one of the areas that they recognize as a relic vault, since this is on the same principle as the vault system. It may just be that this is facing its like similar threats, like massive predatory creatures bent on only destruction in the Grim, maybe some evil ruler who's been pulling the strings from behind the shadows, like Salem. Their toughest challenge yet, the struggle of their own identities, which, yeah, I guess being thrown into what I'm assuming is a parallel dimension would cause one to question who they are, or more, as we see in this trailer, what they are. And after what happened with Volume 8, yeah, they should probably really question whether or not they're equipped to stop Salem, because as they are not. And now for what I said was going to be the end of this video. The release date, early 2023. Now, this will be the first season that doesn't have a September-October start date, at least since I started watching, which was Volume 5. So, and the fact that they've released this halfway through 2022, but there's still half a year at least before this volume starts, which I saw on a couple of social medias, a lot of people really upset. Now, this was meant to come out 2020. Then everything with COVID hit, so it got delayed because they couldn't meet up, they couldn't work on the show, they couldn't even really discuss it with, well, everything that happened in America on top of just the general pandemic. Okay, so that cuts all of 2020 and half of 2021 out of the picture. Then, come mid to late 2022, America started opening up, people started going back to work with the restrictions in place, Rooster Teeth having more restrictions than most of the businesses that I hear about in America. So, again, they wouldn't have been able to have as many people working on it simultaneously, which would lengthen the time needed to create this show. And then, so, that's why they wouldn't have been able to release it end of 2021. Okay? So, then, they've got to take all that time during 2022 and 2021 where they would have been spent working on this show and push it out at a slower work rate than normal through the end of 2021 and up to now in 2022. Okay, so take this from someone who's in the technology industry. I go to a uni that focuses on video games and animations, primarily. When it comes to our animation classes, the students in their second year of animation are given 12 weeks to create a 2-minute clip. That is 3 months for 2 minutes of work. Well, 2 minutes of actual usable footage. Of course, they do need to submit like storyboards and all that to the professors as proof of work and all that. But their main focus for those 3 months, a whole term, is just that 2-minute thing. And yes, that is one person who is still learning how to do it. But it is also purely line work in the animations. Like, no coloring, no shading. It's completely 2D, not this 2.25D, whatever RWBY classifies as. It is a purely, well, I say 2D. It's line work, so it's not much more than 2D, but it can't be like stick figures or anything. But they do that in 3 months. Now, imagine you're creating a show which has, on average, what is it? Not that. Which has, on average, if we go by, let's go volume 6. That had 13. And all of them were around the 15-minute mark. Okay, let's go volume 5. These were again averaging out around the 16-minute mark. Heck, this one may even be more. And they said 14. So, yes, they have a full team, but they're also doing a lot more technical work. They're meant to be using models, coloring, actual voice lines and all that are best done in person and couldn't have been done for the year and a half that they would normally be working on this. So it's completely understandable as to why, even now, they'd still need to push it back. Especially when you look at just how much this has going on visually, even in these small bits that we've seen. Like, if we just... Where is it? Why are you showing me the... not thing I want? I can't find it, but... I'm trying to get the screen of, like, the whole... this. Imagine actually having to design each of these areas and put it in and make it work with the characters and all that. That it's understandable why they needed more time. Looking at this trailer right now, I don't reckon, even without the pandemic, they would have been able to get this out at the end of 2021. And with the extra time that they had to revise the story, to actually get the feedback of Volume 8 before creating this volume, which is something that rarely happens, there was probably some adjustments that happened that means that what they did have, up to all of it, may very well have needed to be gotten rid of to create what we're getting now. So, again, completely understandable why they'd need more time. And so, I have no problem with it taking to early 2023. Now, yes, I will admit, if it gets to that time and it is not good, then I will have questions as to why they need the extra time. But if it's even 3/4 as decent as I'm hoping, then it's fine. I have no problems with it. And yeah. So that's just my thoughts on it. And yeah, I have no problems with it. I'm just gonna be here for the ride when it happens. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.